just in general, because this is something we really have never had to experience before. If you were on the WWE main roster, or in the days of WCW, or even really, well, I shouldn't say Impact, but if you were on a main event, if you were on a main company's roster, you weren't doing shoot interviews.
Right.
And nowadays, we're at a point where everyone talks to everyone about everything.
Right.
Is this, unfortunately, a natural byproduct of that? The fact that Andrade is doing what everyone else does. He's doing an interview where he's giving his honest and open thoughts, we believe. I mean, there's still there's still a chance it could be a work. He's doing an interview where he's giving his thoughts because he's being asked an honest question, and he has two options. I can now lie to this guy who's going to treat me like I'm a liar because everyone else isn't lying to him. Is this kind of a part of the problem of letting guys go out there and do all these interviews?
Well,
it causes, because if he's going to be on, everyone doesn't like somebody, it's going to keep coming up if people keep talking to people.
Amazingly enough, there's the concept of doing a reasonably shoot interview and still keep, MJF does it all the time. Punk weaved seamlessly into it back and forth with knocking people that he wasn't really mad at the same time as he got to point across about the people he was mad at. You can do a shoot kind of interview where nobody's going to say you're lying, and at the same time, you don't have to goddamn spill your guts about everything you think and everything that's going on like you're being interrogated by the enemy as a prisoner of war. So there's that. And even then, back in you said that guys that were working for the WWE or main roster big company back in the day would not have been doing shoot interviews, but that's what Sean kept making little comments about Brett that could be taken by the people who knew as one way and the people who didn't as another, whatever. It's still going to come out, but the question is, do you just immediately start like fucking children in front of the general population bitching at each other on Twitter if you're two grown men that are going to see each other, that have to work together, that can't just dismiss each other? If I don't like something somebody says, I can block them on Twitter, or they can block me, or we can cuss each other out and I can win, which is what always happens. But this is a case, they're going to have to physically, or at one point, since they were on the same roster, they were going to have to physically wrestle each other. They're going to have to occupy the same locker room. They're going to have to, for the foreseeable future, or at least they were before all this went down. Who knows now? So that's the time. If you're genuinely pissed off about what the guy said, as our friend Stephen P. New says, his motto is, I will give any man one chance to do the right thing. If Sammy
he's too nice.
Well,
though.
But no, one chance. If Sammy was so incensed that old Andre had said that he complained like a little girl, then he should have called him up on the phone and said, hey, let's sit down and talk on Wednesday and air this out one way or the other. Or however they wanted to present that, instead of on Twitter in front of the world. Oh, because it makes the company look like shit. And Tony's not in charge enough to do anything about it. It might not have made the company look like shit if 3 of their executive vice presidents and their biggest star were still not suspended for having a goddamn hey Rube in the locker room. It wouldn't maybe look so bad if Kingston had not been suspended for 2 weeks just recently for trying to pie-face Sammy back in the back. And there was the story that old Thunder Rosa was hiding in the bathroom after she broke one of the other girls' noses. She was afraid that they were all going to beat her up. What the fuck is going on here? And it's not even, here's the thing, it's not even like in the old days when Sean and Brett might get in a scuffle, or Nord and Butch Reed in Oklahoma City, or guys that were well matched and give you a good fight. It's goddamn ridiculous. Half these guys can't fight to begin with. And the matches ought to go on as practice in the fucking locker room and put the shoot fights in the ring, and the TV ratings would go up. But that's the thing is, no, and Tony, again, sitting back watching his wrestlers talk this way on Twitter.